Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a new high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have in the top right as our blue Terran player playing for Team Kaisi Gaming, it is Spirit. Kaisi Gaming recently been joined by Rainer. Rainer left Clash and joined Kaisi in an effort to strengthen the force of Kaisi Gaming in the World Team League. In the bottom left, as our red Zerg player playing for Shopify Rebellion, we have Lambo. Shopify Rebellion recently been blessed with the addition of Harstem into their roster, also making them an even more likely candidate to make it into the World Team League playoffs, with such a Protoss powerhouse in there. Now, Lambo is a player that has been performing pretty well over the past few years. Got second place last year in, God, I forgot the name, the next tournament, beating Dark in the semifinal, losing 4-3 to Serral in the finals there. Fantastic ZVZ, very, very smart, very clever. This time taking on Spirit here, the player formerly known as Sol, of course, the Polish Terran, going by the real name of Piotr Walukiewicz, but now called Spirit. Opening up with a factory before reactor here, with that quick marine opener, no scout whatsoever, means that he's completely unaware of what's happening on the other side of the map, but Lambo opening up with a rather standard opener. Fusion core as the first major tech structures. I think we have some texture bug here, because this fusion core already looks pretty done. In reality, it's still just now starting. At the same time, orbital and the natural is done. Here come the first two cars. Does he want to run by with them? The answer so far seems to be no. No follow-up cars on the way yet, so it's going to be fast 3rd-CC. Yep, there we go. This is a kind of a cute build order here. I think he's faking something, although I am not quite sure what it is that he is faking. It is difficult to figure out sometimes what people are faking. It might just be like some mind game between the two, but he really delayed heli in production for an extremely long time here. It should allow him to get that faster CC, and still capable of getting a battle cruiser the moment the gas count hits 300. I'd be surprised if he can't. Okay, well, yeah, he cancels. Well, he cancelled something. Okay, he cancelled a couple of workers actually, so that he can actually afford that battle cruiser. Now we'll continue these workers and should continue Hellion production as well. First two Hellions went back home. Now we'll start moving out on the map again, see if they can get some damage done. I doubt it, honestly, as the Hellion count is going to remain very low for a longer time. Spirit here decides to take out a little bit of a critter on the map, and this creep tumor will also get blasted away from glittering ashes. I never quite understood why it was called glittering ashes, but now I see all these ashes flying over the map, and some of them are indeed glittering. I can't believe I've never noticed this. Perhaps it's because I usually play with lower graphic settings. Oi, 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 big surround here on two of the Hellions. Spirit will, burst himself a way out with these flamethrowers. We'll end up losing both cars in the end. No matter what, extra gas is being taken already over here, so there is some potential for a mech opener currently. The first battle cruiser is going to jump across the map in a couple of seconds from now. We have a scan somewhere. It is at the third base. Sees a lot of queens there, as Lambo now starts positioning his queens in the main base. Okay, 3 queens in the main. Oh, 2 queens in the main, 1 spore as well. This is a BC teleport behind the main base. There's not an overlord there to provide vision. Continued Hellion production and factory 2 and 3 are pushing in right now. So this BC is going to be capable of taking out a couple of these workers. Starts with 5. It's a good start. Almost gets the 6th one, but not quite. Hellions are idling in the middle of the map as more Hellions are being produced. Lambo's trying to set up a run-by here as well, leaving very little links at home. It's actually kind of scary, because these Hellions still in the middle of the map. If they decide to jump in right now, I think Lambo might just be in a little bit of trouble. Spirit, however, not being active whatsoever with these Hellions, and decides to keep them in the middle. Now decides to jump in. Links are returning back home. Here comes the first shot. Gets a single drone, but that's about it. No scan either on the creep, and Lambo so far with a pretty stellar defense. Doesn't lose too much. Battlecruiser is extremely low as well. Spires on the way. Second BC is being constructed. So we do have the double armory follow up here. 3rd-CC already. Mining and double gas is being taken. Spirit in a very solid economical position. While Lambo is about to finish up his 4th base and should be holding down that drone button as hard as he can to get these extra gases in, to get that extra mineral eco as well. So he can get up to a decent bunch of Corruptors. And, you know, from what it seems, this is just going to be Corruptor, Ravager, Ling, Bane, at least in the starting phase here against mech. This is a very common composition out of Zergs that don't necessarily want to do an attack that can kill their opponent, but still want to get that high Corruptor count up, want to get a lot of creep spread, get a little bit of map control as well. I think this PC also teleported across the map, right? So right now, yeah, in a little bit of trouble perhaps. Needs to start flying back home as the Spire is about to finish up. This battlecruiser is just flying across the map, and with Yamato about to finish up, might just want to fire off one Yamato and call it quits. And there's a crap ton of Hellions here. 16 Hellions, 7 Roaches. Not all Roaches are in position though. That means that Spirit has some potential to deal damage with these Hellions. Moves in, sees the Roaches, decides to get a couple of shots off. Good links around here out of Lambo. Will kind of force these Hellions to shoot the links first rather than just driving away. So one of these Overlords is getting rather low as well, but the battlecruiser decides not to finish it up. There's no Yamato cannon left, and with these Corruptors showing up, this most likely means that no Yamato is going to be fired. No, instead, we immediately see that teleport, that blink of the battlecruiser. As the tank count is rising already, Lambo actually opting for a bit of an attack. And I thought this was going to be Ravager Ling Bane. Seems to be a 72-73 drone attack here with Corruptor Ravager. Bunch of links in the mix as well. Could of course still construct a couple of Banes with this. And this is by no means all in, but this is still a relatively dedicated attack. I do believe, however, that Spirit is set up appropriately with plenty of turrets, plenty of tank fire, and that Lambo should not be capable of dealing too much damage. A good scan out of Spirit, sees his opponent trying to move in, and Lambo is already adding 3 more drones at this point. I think Lambo is aware of the fact right now that it's going to be really, really tricky for him to attack into this, as he decides to just head home. 4 more drones on the way, and extra gas is being taken. Once this 5th finishes up, we could be seeing drone counts as high as 95, 96. Against mech, that often isn't much of an issue, because mech isn't really intended to kill the opponent. It isn't going to move out very quickly, just tends to sit at home for a long time while slowly but surely expanding, getting into those ghost counts as well. A couple of Ravager shots will hit these tanks, and a couple of these Yamatos will hit the Ravagers. So a bit of a trade-off. I think that trade ended up being better for Spirit. Turrets do need to go down though, because there's no anti-air bar these 2 battle cruisers. That means that Corruptors have the potential to be very dangerous here in a push. We have a big run by being set up here, trying to take out a 5th base. The battle cruiser will try and hold it. 5th base gets cancelled. 5th and 6th immediately get rebuilt. At the same time, here come the Corruptors moving in. These battle cruisers really potentially in a bit of trouble, but the turrets do finish up. And although a defensive blink gets used here, I don't think it was quite necessary, as the turrets did a great job at zoning out these Corruptors. There's 13 Corruptors on the map currently. Not a single one has gone down. And yeah, here we go. 95 workers for Lambo right now. So he's going to be on that drone count that you kind of expect against mech. Like a very, very large drone count, which is just great against mech. Makes it easy for you to take extra bases on the map, to continue having that map control, and making sure that the mech player can't expand too quickly. Allows you to add a lot of Banelings as well, as we're currently on 9 gas already. This is it's going to be some insane gas mining here coming out of Lambo, I can assure you that. As the gas 7 and 8 also have been taken here for Spirit, who is nearing max out at this point. Couple of links once again moving towards the 3rd base, trying to take out turrets, trying to take out SCVs as well. Spirit also decided to go to a rather high count of SCVs, and for Terran sometimes that can be a little bit dangerous. We see here Spirit is almost faltering under the pressure already. Yamatos are going to save the day though, as Corruptors get taken out, and the Cyclones with these... I forgot the name of the upgrade here for a second. What is it called? The quick rocket shooters. Good lord, I actually can't get to it, but it's okay. And it allows them to deal more effectively with the Corruptors in the sky. Another push perhaps coming out. The 60 more Banelings do get morphed in. 93 drones still are around, and just continuing to get these upgrades as well as Lambo, of course. Just wanting to always get these extra upgrades, prepare for a late game while living in the moment. It's really what his motto seems to be in this game so far. You know, he wants to try and deal damage, he wants to try and kill, but if it doesn't work, he's still very prepared for that late game with these upgrades, with the hive on the way. Here comes a Hellion run by with potentially a decent amount of damage here, as I think 10-12 workers do end up falling. And I guess 4 Hellions, that's definitely not bad. 14 workers immediately get rebuilt. There's plenty of larva to go around as well, so Lambo not in any major trouble right now. I mean, losing 12-13 workers is annoying, but if you have plenty of larvae, it really is not the end of the world. There's no Yamatos available as this Spore continues attacking. Big scan coming out of Spirit here as he double Yamatos this hatchery and decides to teleport out. I think one more Yamato landed on one of these Corruptors. I didn't quite catch it. As a Link Bane attack is trying to hit this 5th base. Isn't quite a planetary yet. Funnily enough, that might actually be an advantage here for Spirit, because it allows him to lift it if he decides to cancel and then lift that command center. Doesn't quite seem to be the case. Wants to finish this planetary, and now this planetary might actually be in a little bit of trouble because of that. These Links do not have Adrenal glands yet, as Mules are being landed. Now, with Adrenal, I think this would have gone down, but without Adrenal, yeah, you just kill stuff too slow. Adrenal is a pretty far way away right now, still a full minute away from finishing. Bottom right side base is already being taken as Lambo is inching forward towards Spirit's bases, and this is when things will really start to get tricky for the Terran players. The moment that the Zerg decides to take bases that belong to the Terran, because in that case it triggers the Terran, it forces the Terran to start doing stuff. Ooh, all of these tanks on the same spot means that a single round of vials can take out a bunch of them. 2-3 tanks go down. There's only a single tank remaining right now here on the far left side. Battlecruiser does get microed back. The turrets are helping out. There are 4 BCs as well, but with the Biles and with the Corruptors, I do believe that the anti-air for Lambo is going to be enough, as units lost is still in favor of Spirit here, but not in such a big way as people perhaps would have expected. We have 3 extra barracks on the way right now, and that's most likely going to be for the Ghost, as we also see the Ghost Academy being added. 6 Cyclones, 6 Hellions being produced at a time, but I think the real lack here isn't in Cyclones or Hellions, it is just in tanks. We've completely been lacking tanks this entire game, or at least against some of the pushes, and especially that last push. Now Broodlords are on the way already, and Queens are in position to start kind of attacking this forward base. Now this was the forward base immediately, but it wouldn't surprise me if this will be turned into runes relatively quickly. And this will turn into the 4th, and this will turn into the 5th. We'll have to wait and see, of course, what these Broodlords can achieve, but there's just not that much anti-air available. There are 2 Thors. And I guess Yamatos should be capable of dealing a decent job here. Dealing a decent amount of damage. Yeah, this base is absolutely blasted right now. Broodlord's just a little bit too much. We have a Cyclone Hellbat run by. Will be capable of taking out 1 base on the left side as well. But of course Lambo is completely okay with losing hatcheries, because he has plenty of hatcheries. He already took one of Spirit's bases at this point. Although this isn't a base with 8 mineral patches, it would still be very important for Lambo to start mining from that as soon as possible. Another Yamato gets used as the battlecruiser teleports out. 6 kills on it. It's a continued battlecruiser production, or almost continued battlecruiser production. Continuous battlecruiser production. So there's a small stop right now. There's 6 stores on the way as well, or there was 6 stores on the way. 3 of them just finished, 3 more are about to finish, and that shouldn't help deal with these Broodlords, as the Broodlords are of course a major issue right now. Ravagers, however, of course fantastic against stores with their bile ability, and I wouldn't mind seeing things like Neural Parasite starting. We already have Neural Parasite, we already have Pathogen Glands, so the switch into Infestors is one that can be made in the very short term here. For Lambo as well. That means that Thors always need to be careful. Scans need to be plentiful, and I think there are a couple of extra command centers here, so it should be a possibility as well here. It definitely should be. Ravagers moving in, trying to bile absolutely everything. Do get a couple of decent biles off. I don't think there was a cancel there on the command center. At the same time, once the Cyclones actually lock on, they deal pretty quickly with these Ravagers, and that's what we're seeing right here, right now. Thor's actually not eating too many bile shots, and the first Ghosts are in production as well. I think Spirit might actually be moving into a late game at this point, where his army composition feels better than his opponents. And this is not something that I kind of expected to say, honestly. I really did not quite anticipate that. I really did not. Big scan coming out as these creep tumors are gonna get taken out. Hop, hop, hop. Oh. 6 extra infestors on the way as well, 16 banelings, burrow coming out. So we do see that switch right now into these infestors. And with these banelings, this is more of like more of a band-aid solution currently. It doesn't feel like banelings are going to be super useful against this army. I mean, it's not like it's filled with Hellions. There are a couple of Hellions in the back, but trying to run into these stores with banelings, that is going to be pain, of course, and that is indeed what is happening. Do get some decent splash damage off. A couple of fungals also hitting here, and Spirit is trading, but I'm not quite sure if he's trading very efficiently. Lambo's still only down 7k resources. Now, this base isn't mining yet. That probably should be getting a little more priority than it is right now. Eventually, if Spirit does not die, Spirit should be capable of taking this base and then this base, and well, this is a difficult base for Lambo to take, and eventually Spirit will be capable of getting it. Battlecruisers move towards the left side. I wouldn't mind if they get repaired before they decide to go across the map. I mean, this is a battlecruiser with 42 HP. Like half a queen can take that out. A single spore would be potentially awful to play against as well. BCs once again go in right now, trying to take out anything they can. Where's the scans happening? I heard a scan. Okay, it's towards the left side. Scans these infestors and now knows what's going on. Can we get a... Yep, there we go. Good blink here. Honestly, fantastic blink. Oh, if the Biles were there before they had landed, that would have been a fantastic move. Biles not quite connecting. Double Yamato's going down on these Ravagers as 2 more Ravagers bite the dust. This was a good couple of seconds here, the past 40, 50 seconds for Spirit, in which he gets some pretty decent trades. He really does need to start working on repair on these BCs though, because it is getting a little bit painful at this point. +1 armor, infantry armor on the way for the Ghost, as the Ghost count is also slowly but surely climbing up to 8. We are already, there's no cloak yet, there's no nukes being researched, but these are things that could of course still happen in the future. A couple of snipes going down right now as these Ravagers are falling. No tanks sieged up as these banelings are trying to get a connection with the Ghost that they want, but they will not quite be capable of getting that. And the Ghost for now stay alive. 16 Ghost is what Spirit is aiming for. There's 12 out already, 4 more on the way. And more turrets being constructed, of course, to deal with these burrowed infestors. Cyclones try to connect with some of these queens and will not quite get them. A little bit unfortunate, but then again, it truly is what it is. Battlecruisers need to teleport away as they take out this base. I think one of the BCs did end up dying. Oh, a couple of snipes here could be big. And we're indeed going to be seeing that. I think 5 Corruptors did end up falling there. BC's teleported across the map. Now, surely that is a mistake. This is a sacrificial move. Definitely. As the Ravagers show up as well. Could go for a quadruple biling here. Yep, there we go. One more. Definitely Spirit is going to need more to get away from here. Yep, he does end up dying. As the Hellion Cyclone Force is clearing a lot of creep in the middle of the map. The money is rather low here for Spirit. And I'm not quite sure why that is the case. We're working off of 8 orbital commands. I guess majority of the money is being invested in either extra command centers or just in scanning, rather than really going for any major mineral income boost. These banelings are just going to take out this planetary. That is very clear to me, and perhaps even some of these command centers might be in trouble. These, oh, huge freaking neural here. And a lot of these ghosts now without energy because of that EMP that Lambo ended up putting on these ghosts. Still, these ghosts with the snipes are just dealing so much damage right now. And do actually end up kind of getting the win here. They really did end up getting the win there. A couple of more of these fungals trying to land. Yeah, all of these ghosts are gonna die actually. I wasn't quite sure if he was gonna be able to keep hitting that with fungal after fungal after fungal, but it seems to be the case. Right now Spirit is moving out. There's still a decent amount of larva available for Lambo as well, so I don't think he's going to end up dying, but he might just end up losing a single base. As Spirit is moving in right now. Thor shooting, bang, bang. Tanks with that long range is, of course, as well. There are 10 tanks out currently, but there's only 5 tanks with this army. Single neural gets used, and this Thor is going to be tanking a lot of damage right now. Ghost in the far back, trying to help out with their snipes. will kind of get attacked by these banelings, and Spirit right now at only 144 supply with no bank here whatsoever. We'll end up taking out perhaps one more Ravager. Yep, there we go. Look at that. Shot in the back. Trying to run away from the fight. He was so peaceful. No, it is what it is. Spirit, meanwhile, is flying another base over towards the far right side. And it seems like we're actually heading into a full-on split map scenario here. And now I think there's a bunch of mules out, by the way. Look at the income. It was 4k earlier. Yeah, here we go. These were like 8 mules over here. And then there's 2 more over here. So that's 10 mules. Do we have any other mules somewhere? I don't think so. I mean, that's just absolutely going to blast this income through the roof. And Spirit should be capable of maxing out pretty quickly because of that. Working off of 8 tanks, 11 Cyclones. I am a little bit surprised to see this love for Cyclones, but it allows Spirit to take out these side bases with relative ease. But if the tanks aren't in position to deal with the run-bys, you're just going to continuously be losing a lot of these planetaries. Fungal hits on 2 of the Cyclones. This is not a planetary yet. Ghosts are not in position. They are desperately trying to get into position as a couple of fungal boys get picked off. There's not that many workers here, but still, any worker that goes down at this point is rather painful for Spirit. Fungal is completely going to hit all of these Cyclones. Piles will not quite hit as the follow-up, as the ghosts show up. This is a big army out of Spirit. Don't forget that the moment you see this type of stuff, like the 150 against 187, and you see the 46 versus 88, that the moment there is a 30 or 40 supply difference, the Terran still has a massive army, right? The army supply for the Terran currently is bigger. Now it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but just because he isn't max doesn't mean that he can't win fights. In good positions, this Terran army is going to be close to unbeatable already, and it isn't even nowhere near max yet. This left side base is right now being taken for Lambo, but Spirit is not going to let that happen as these cars are being sent over. And as a result, will be capable of, well, most likely actually just taking out this base. I don't think a Lambo can get there quickly enough with the correct units to save this base. That means that Lambo most likely is going for a counter-attack, and that's indeed what he is doing right now. Single Broodlord attacking this planetary, a couple of Banelings rolling in as well, and this planetary is D-E-A-D. Absolutely dead. And Lambo perhaps looking for more? No, he says, I'm good for now. How many? Oh, that was close. If that Infestor would have neural EMP there, that could have been huge. But yeah, this is 15 Ghosts right now, 5 Cyclones and 7 tanks. This is a major amount of units here for Spirit. It's actually crazy how much crap he has. As we're moving into the ultra late game at this point, 24 minutes in, we're really entering this pure split map scenario. Lambo is struggling because he's down 11k already. He hasn't mined anything from his opponent. I'm starting to doubt whether he will be capable of completely emptying out this base as well, because there is a decent possibility that this bottom base isn't necessarily going to be completely mined by Lambo. At the same time, maybe Lambo is going to be capable of getting a little bit of money from this hatchery over here. Even if it's only 2 or 2,500 minerals, that's 2,500 minerals that Spirit isn't going to be getting. As tanks are sieging up, Hellions will not quite be capable of getting the trades that they wanted. A couple of Ghosts moving in, EMPs are all missing, and these snipes do need to hit in order for it to be something. Once again, a single Cyclone is just going to be taking out the trade. I think this is the second time that I see a Cyclone, or at least a group of Cyclones, trying to take out a base here and actually succeeding. A couple of Ghost Snipes once again going in, lots of Infestors falling once more, and one more time. We have Spirit moving across the map at 169 supply against 179. That means that the army supply is almost 50 supply ahead right now here for the Terran player. Single Broodlord pulling off some harass. I actually believe that Spirit might be in a winning spot at this point. He is pushing forward, which isn't completely necessary. I think just denying this 11 o'clock a couple of extra times is going to be sufficient. But Spirit says, hey, I think I can actually do more than just deny a base. I think I can actually take a very, very beneficial fight. He has a lot of tanks here on that left side. Lambo doesn't quite know what to do with it. He's working with a Ravager, Bane, Infestor, Roach army. This is not a great army against this many tanks. Ideally, a couple of Broodlords against this type of tank count would be quite nice. Now, this planetary is going to get taken out. This orbital can be lifted, of course. This planetary over here could also still be taken out. I mean, there's plenty of Banelings. As Spirit is going to continue moving out. He has 4 tanks here. Are these tanks going to be enough? I'm not so sure. There's no planetary here either. Pure orbitals. I think this orbital that was over here also ended up dying. So Spirit right now is not actually mining that much. And we're entering perhaps base trade territory. And this is the one thing in which Lambo would shine, because he still has a bigger bank than his opponent. He still has mining on the bottom right side. But at the same time, Spirit is just losing every single base right now. This planetary also will fall. And there's no more income remaining right now. Oi, 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 oi. How is he going to survive in the next 2 to 3 minutes without any income whatsoever? Every single fight needs to be a complete win, as Lambo still has decent money in the bank. Now, of course, this could change pretty rapidly. I mean, we've seen Snipes do some work before. There's still 9 ghosts available. At the same time, a single Infestor with a single good neural could completely change this game around as well. So it's going to be important to kind of keep track of whatever it is that's happening. Let's also not forget that there is a decent amount of orbital command. So the moment a base lands and starts getting the mule rain, it's just going to be really difficult for Lambo to match that type of income, because he lost every single base on the top left. And although I don't necessarily favor Spirit in a fight, I don't really favor Lambo in the macro game here, because there's still so many orbitals available. This right side base is going to get taken out. I think that's almost the final mine. That is the last mining base at this point. Here we get a big fungal on a couple of these units. This is starting to become really important, because Spirit is the only one that's mining right now. He needs to get more gas going though. He absolutely needs to get more gas. Gas, Hellions, some Thors perhaps, as there are a bunch of Broodlords being constructed. So Thors might be a very decent solution to this problem. I don't really see a way for Lambo to win this game right now. He can't push out. Spirit has a crap ton of tanks. The only problem is the creep in the middle that reaches all the way to these dangerous areas where if Spirit needs to defend at this moment, I don't necessarily see him having a good fight. But if Spirit needs to make a defense in, what, like a minute or 3 from now, as he loses 6 tanks for practically free, that's not good. Losing 6 tanks there is actually kind of dangerous in a way. These Broodlords pushing forward, maybe want to deny a base, maybe don't want to deny a base, feel a little bit insecure in their movement. Cyclones try to hit these Ravagers, Roaches. Now this is a relatively mobile army that can rotate from side to side. Of course, the tanks and the Hellbats not as much. I wouldn't mind if a little bit of this middle creep ends up getting denied, because this is really, really messing with Spirit. Just the vision it provides for Lambo, but also the quick movement and the ability to just push forward with Queen Broodlord. That's not a good one. Okay, one of these Broodlord does end up getting taken out. There's nothing in production currently in the entire game. That is a very rare thing in a 30-minute game often. As the Broodlords start moving forward, I hope these orbital commands get lifted, because they could play a vital role later on in the game still. First store once again is being rebuilt. Orbital command gets lifted, needs to be repaired real quick though. Can we get a couple of snipes off? I'm not quite sure if we can. No target fire on the Infestors by the tanks yet. Is there cloak on these ghosts? I think the answer is no. There's no extra infantry armor upgrades either. A lot of these Broodlords getting sniped out of the sky currently though. The tank fire needs to be so good. Not on the Broodlings, but on the Roaches, on the Ravagers, and mainly on the Infestors. The worker count on the side of Zerg is currently only 31. His army is 70 supply, as he will be capable of cleaning up this base and cleaning up this army. But there's going to be more where that came from. There's still a single orbital command that is not being repaired, that is burning and needs to start being repaired. The Thor is out right now. More Cyclones are on the way. So we have this. What even is this? This is a Cyclone and a Ghost in 4 medevacs trying to move their way across the map. A couple of drones start mining from here. Oh, Lambo has absolutely nothing left. I don't quite see how he's going to be winning this game, as Spirit is still mining. But the fights in the last few minutes just haven't been that great for him. Here comes Lambo once again with these Broodlords, Cyclones. Maybe you want to go for some type of flank. Is the Thor in the correct mode yet? I think it might just be, I'm never quite sure, but I believe this looks fine. Can we get a lift on these ghosts? No, we can't. One of them will stay alive with the help of the heal of the medevac. The tank will also stay alive, albeit with only 7 HP. And Lambo is rebuilding one of the hatcheries. Where is that? Oh, this is a very safe base and still has quite some minerals as well. Should allow Lambo to get something done here. At the same time though, Spirit absolutely outmining his opponent here on this base. Good roach round by will allow Lambo to deny the mining here. But also opens up an opportunity for Cyclones and Ghost to deal some big damage. Can we get a scan? Oh yes, we can get a scan. That is 4 roaches down the drain. That is basically a minute worth of income here for Lambo right now. Who is working off of 35 workers and should be getting up to an entire base of mining at this point. And I think I'm starting to see a path again here for Lambo, a path to the future. Only 3 Broodlords though. And in these small numbers, Ghost and Cyclones, very microable units, are going to be super useful. At the same time, we can put Thors in medevacs as well, helping to take out these Broodlords, of course. It is a very real possibility here, as another hatchery is being constructed, and this is at a very healthy base. No extra drones are in production currently. I think Spirit believes that he's outmining his opponent, and he would be correct. And I believe Lambo also believes that he's going to be outmining his opponent. That's also correct. So Spirit wants to wait because he believes every second is a good one. And Lambo wants to wait because he believes every second he will get closer to Spirit's income and eventually even surpass him. And I think both of these statements are correct. But obviously one of them has to actually do something. And whether that's building 5 SCVs at a time, which I think is a fantastic call in this scenario, by the way, or whether that's attacking, doesn't really matter too much. I really do like the extra SCVs. Actually, I prefer that one. I take it back, it does matter. These Cyclones should not be capable of getting this base, yet they're going to try. And they might... Nah, they're not going to get it. 2 Cyclones will end up falling. Can we get a single fungal here on this army? I think we coulda, woulda, shoulda. But Lambo decided not to. This single tank is... Or the single tank, the single Thor is just kind of bumping around in the mineral line. More mules are being thrown down as well. The gas income is also growing right now for Spirit, who once again is getting a big army. 27 workers are out as well here. This is a lot of Hellions. Did this get spotted? Yeah, okay, it's gonna get spotted now at least. There's a bunch of infestors here. Can we get a scan? Can we get a scan? I think Spirit should be seeing the movement there. Does not quite see the movement. Oh man, that's a lot of stuff here. Hop, pops out. Fungal. Another fungal? Can we get another fungal? Oh, yes, we can. That's about 15, 14 Hellions. Does end up killing a base that was mining. But also, I mean, you're losing a lot of Hellions here. And it's kind of scary. Because with 2k mineral income per minute, it's not the end of the world. You still have access to this base potentially as well. Lambo still has access to this bottom base as well. So, both players trying to mine as much as they can. And I think currently I would be, well, army-wise... Single Thor, 3 Cyclones, 3 tanks, 6 Ghosts. Yeah, I'm favoring Spirit here. I'm definitely favoring Spirit. He just needs to somehow get to that left side without getting completely blasted on the right side. And I think that's the plan for now. 2 Hellbats will be the defensive help of this base. If he can take out this base, that would be super huge. It actually would be very, very big. And he can take out the Spinecrawler at least. These Queens might fall as well. Do we have a run by coming in? No, we don't. That is 1 infestor that will not see the end of the day. 46 more links on the way as well. I mean, there's plenty of Hellions to deal with this number of links. No, yeah. That's Hellbats even. It's not just Hellions, by the way. Like these are going to be super useful. Link run by will be dealt with by these Hellbats if they're still here. No. Oh, F2 being used here out of Spirit. If the Hellbats move away, they had such a perfect defensive position. Links with the adrenal glands and with the 3-3 upgrades are going to be taking out stuff real quick over here. So Spirit needs to be so careful. It's actually falling behind in supply currently, and it's mainly because he just lost 15 workers. Does not live this command center. Does not live that orbital command. Very painful loss there. These links are gonna get us around on the Hellbat. 1 Hellbat goes down, 2nd Hellbat stays alive though, just one-shotting everything in its path. More turrets being constructed, making sure that he can spot any infestors. This is a lot of links. But links aren't actually that great of an army in this scenario. I don't think so, at least. Can he snipe this? He can snipe this. That's a snipe. That is snipe worthy. Scan and snipe. Scan and snipe is 100% the way here. I'm so surprised we're not seeing any cloak yet. There's not been an overseer for a long time, and a single cloak with like 6-7 snipes will completely change the game here. There's 9 ghosts. That would be 9 uninterrupted snipes that he could get off by researching cloak. Like that's a game changer. That is absolutely a game changer. Banelings are gonna get caught here by these Hellions, by these Hellbats. At the same time, Lambo, slowly but surely, pulling ahead in the supply, feeling more and more confident, actually pushing forward right now. Takes out one of the Cyclones. Tanks are under a little bit of fire as well. Good initial impact damage out of these Broodlords. So big, it's ridiculous. His tanks just falling so quick. Even though it's only 3 Broodlords. Can we get a couple of snipes? No, tanks sieging up. Here goes the snipes, perhaps. Thor, in position. Yep, in position to deal with these brutes. Here come more snipes. Single overseers here as well. We see a neural parasite on one of these tanks. Infestor gets taken out, but so gets the rest of Spirit's army. And I think Spirit is the one that is in major trouble here right now. There's 1 Broodlord still remaining. It's a lot of links. It's really not that many units that can deal with Hellions. There are a couple of them, but this Ghost Hellion army actually looks somewhat scary still. Here come more links moving in right now. Ghost in the back. Cyclone's going to tank the brunt of that damage out of the Banelings. But yeah, I actually believe that Spirit might just be dead right now. He's half supply of his opponent. Does not really have a way of killing everything on the ground. Thor comes out, which is possibly the worst unit that he could have had right now. I understand why he built it, because in the moment while he was building it, there were still a couple of Broodlords that needed to be dealt with. This base is under heavy fire as well. I really hope Spirit ends up lifting the base, because without the lift and without these orbitals, life is going to be so hard. But it's 44 supply against 150, and at this point, I believe that although ghosts are good, they're not this good. And that Lambo has actually done it. With the mining on the left side, I think this game is actually over. I think, yeah. I just don't really see a path forward for Spirit right now. Still has a decent amount of orbitals, I can only imagine. 6 or so? 5 he has. Yeah, 5 is just not enough. Not a single planetary, more ghosts coming in. 6 ghosts against 27 roaches and 74 links. In order to deal with this amount of links, you're going to need like 10, 12 cars, and this amount of roaches, you're going to need like 12, 13 ghosts as well, and a couple of tanks to help you out. Like, it's just not going to be enough. Can we see a single scan here? No. Instead, we see a neural parasite, and that's a very important tank. Every single unit is very important at this point, as Lambo is just moving in and says, I want to end this game, and I think he might just be capable of doing that. We're going to see 1 big fungal, another fungal. GG gets called, and Lambo wins the game here on Glittering Ashes. Big shout out to Spirit for sending me this game, as I often ask games from my friends, and if they deliver, that's always very nice. It's a pretty epic ZVT from the ladder that got sent to me by Spirit. So yeah, shout out to him. Thanks everyone else for watching. I hope you did enjoy this very long ZVT mech, Ghost mech game, and I'll see all of you next time. Thanks so much, and bye bye.